It's time for the Jesse T Show, live from the Gray Ghost 2. The Gray Ghost 1, unfortunately, went to the car cemetery in heaven. I had to get rid of it this last weekend, and I got rid of it for $200. I had to take Gray Ghost 1 away to the car cemetery. And I really actually felt really bad because Gray Ghost 1 was a great car. But its master here, Jesse T, decided that he wanted to keep going straight down a long, dark highway and wanted to test out Gray Ghost 1 over a dirt mound flying in the desert at the end of this road. How dare the state of California not make that road longer when they knew Jesse T, was going to be coming down that road. They didn't make it long enough. So the Gray Ghost 1 and we did an experiment, and off the road into the dirt mound we went. And unfortunately, the bottom of the Gray Ghost was like this when we started, and the bottom of the Gray Ghost ended like this when we ended. She tried. She even started back up for me. And I got to tell you, I appreciate Gray Ghost 1. Saved my life. So now I'm driving Gray Ghost 2. And we're on the air and everywhere. From the community to the world, you and I are together in the cockpit of Gray Ghost 2, somewhere in an undisclosed location in the San Fernando Valley here, deep inside the bowels of the Jesse T movable bunker, because you never know when the zombie apocalypse is going to happen. Hope you're ready. Yeah, baby. The prepper here, Jesse T, walking down the end of 1985, I realized that I needed to learn some skills that would allow me to understand the communication process a little better with the businesses I chose, and that's the entertainment business and the real estate business. After all, these are people. It's a people business. And I needed to develop some skills. Well, back in the late 70s, my mentor, Guy Stockwell, the great Guy Stockwell, terrific actor, his brother's Dean Stockwell, is still alive. Guy would have been about 86 today. One of the loves of my life, my mentor, my friend. I did all his real estate, all his loans. I helped him get well towards the end of his life. Then he got sick again and unfortunately didn't follow the pattern we set up. And I helped him move near his daughter. And I just loved Guy Stockwell. What a great acting coach. I spent 20 years with him acting. And I learned hypnotherapy, even though my mother was a hypnotherapist. I learned it more of it from him as well, but I was akin to it earlier in my life. I learned this thing called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and essentially when I learned it, it was sort of like a light went off in my head and my heart, and the reason is because it was like this was the way I was raised, you know? This is the way Grandma T and Grandpa T and Great Grandpa T and Great Grandma T raised Jesse T, you know? And that's sort of the way I raised my children. Ryan T and Jesse Andrew T. Anyway, neuro-linguistic programming. It's fantastic. It's a science that was created by Milton Erickson back in the 1940s at the University of Arizona, and passed down to John Grinder, the Grinders in Long Beach in the 70s, and then passed down to my coach, Guy Stockwell, my friend. If I talk about him too much, I'm going to not be able to talk. But my friend, and then he taught it to me, and that's part of what his Stanislavski method of acting was. It was NLP, as well as hypnotherapy. Beautiful. Anyway, so that has benefited me, and I became a NLP practitioner back in the early days. I'm not a practitioner anymore. My studying of that has not continued on. There's so many cool new things, but I know all the foundational back stuff that was originally created in NLP for about 10 years into that philosophy and understanding. And basically, it's something that has helped me in my life. So this week, as we end 2018 and move into 2019, I thought, what better way that I could share with you something that would help benefit you and your family in the year 2019 financially, personally, philosophically, sociologically, psychologically, educationally, that can help you become the best you can be. Because I want you to be the best you can be. Hey, it's me, Jesse T, and I want the best for you all the time. Now, I will say there's a selfish aspect to this, so I have to relinquish that to you and disclose that, I am a real estate broker for many, many, many decades, and a loan broker and a notary. I do loans, I sell real estate, I buy real estate, I do all that stuff. And if you are super successful, and I contributed to that, well, God willing, and all the hocus pocus behind that, I would hope that you'd look me back up and we could do some business together. So there's a selfish aspect to it too as well. But the most important aspect is I want you to be successful. We need happy, successful people today. NLP is a way in which that you can strive that, neuro-linguistic programming. So yesterday I did my first NLP show. I'm doing one today. I'm going to do one tomorrow. And then into the weekend, of course, in the New Year's, we'll be kicking into that. And those festivities will be partaking here. We'll be partaking in that here on the Jesse T Show over the weekend. But I wanted to do something good for you guys this year in my most humble way, that I could share with you what has been very successful for me in my life, both in relationships, solving problems and solutions and challenges and issues, success, how to attain it, how to keep it, how to help others become successful. It's this whole concept. Neuro-linguistic programming. So yesterday I did the SMART theory of the road to success, the SMART theory. SMART, S-M-A-R-T, NLP meaning being specific, having measurable, having to be achievable, having to be reasonable, and have it to be timed. So NLP, SMART theory. In order to be successful in something, you have to be very specific at it. You have to give yourself a realistic measuring stick so that it's measurable. You have to be able to understand that you have to be able to achieve it. It's got to be achievable. You don't go climbing Mount Everest naked. It's got to be achievable. You got to prep for that, okay? You have to have it to be, have some reality, to be reliable in that respect. It's got to have some reality behind it. You're not going to fly the moon on gossamer wings, okay? You have to have some reality behind that, all right? And then the other aspect of that is time. T for timed. It's got to be timed. You got to understand that timing takes place in everything. And time is not something you can force. It's something you can strive for, but you have to have the flexibility to be able to account for yourself to adjust. And that's a SMART concept of NLP and a road and a path to success. So we covered that yesterday. Neuro-linguistic programming. This is how we learned as children. Our nerves, our language, or linguistics is all programmed. We hear things linguistically. We see things neurologically. We combine the sound and the physical aspect of together, and that creates a program that is programmed into us from the beginning of life, even before in the womb. So what we have to do is recognize that everything starts with a language, a way of communicating, whether you speak in sign language, or you speak in a different foreign language, or you speak in grunting language. It doesn't matter. A way to communicate is language, is linguistics. Linguistics means language and words, but language and communication means being able to communicate with somebody else, and they can communicate back. Okay, so with that in mind, then the language becomes very important. You tie that with your nerves, the nerves in your body, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the brain, the heart, the soul, the heart, the lungs, the nerves in your body. That creates a physical being. Okay, so your nerves are programmed by your communication, your language that you're hearing at birth. Okay, and that program is created by those two items, and you have a program for life, and that's what it is. Neurolinguistic programming. Neurolinguistic programming. Okay, when I learned that, it was like, bingo, wow, I get it. I had done that already my whole life. My parents taught me that, but my mentor, Guy Stockwell, gave me a signpost, and he called it something. It's like, why is a red crayon called a red crayon? Because somebody said that thing that makes that kind of image on a piece of paper is red. Why can't it be a porcupine crayon? Why can't it be a flambicotoid crayon? Why can't it be a phlegmometer crayon? Because no, somebody named it red. A crayon is a crayon, a crayon is a crayon, a crayon, and a crayon. But in order for humans to understand it and be able to separate that from something else, another crayon's a crayon, that's a crayon, that's a crayon because it's a crayon, we name it something. We give it a specific something. We name it something. Though a crayon's going to act like a crayon does because that's what crayons do. They can only be a crayon. A crayon can't be a palm tree. It can only be a crayon. So it's going to act like a crayon does. Even though it's an inanimate product, it's going to act like a crayon does. A tiger is going to act like a tiger, not an elephant. A giraffe can never be a little bunny rabbit. They're going to act as which they are created to act. But we humans, in order for us to organize our lives, we have to name things. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our nature. It can be a grunt. It can be whatever it is. And whatever becomes universally accepted in that name, that's what it becomes. So when I say red crayon to you, bingo, you have an image of a red crayon, which is going to be different than the image when you say red crayon to me. My red crayon is half used, flat on the top. I got to take the paper off and I have to sharpen it. And it's ruby red, like ruby red lipstick. That's what red crayon says to me. Now, red crayon says to you, red Ferrari. Red crayon says to you, a red crayon that's this big and that round. I don't know. But we still have the basic idea that a red crayon is the definition of the crayon. That's red because it's universally accepted. Got it? Got it. Okay. When I found NLP, it was like everything I was doing naturally in life from the time I was born got a name tag. And the minute you give it a name tag, then you can train yourself to be able to do those certain activities on purpose. And that, after all, is the control of a human being. We have anger management control. We have behavioral control. We have control over our lives where the wild panther does not. The hippopotamus does not. They react instinctually to an action that is taken upon or around them. They react, but they don't think about it. We think about it. By thinking about it, we can manufacture it. And by manufacturing like an actor does, we can manufacture that and make it believable because it's being manufactured by you. So at that moment and point in time, it's believable. Okay? So when you can signpost something and call it something, all of a sudden everything that was naturally happening in the state through your life gets flooded into a signpost being put on everything. Sort of like when you're coding and doing algorithms on a computer, you're signposting everything. Okay? Well, when I learned NLP, and Guy Stockwell taught me this as part of took my training a long time ago, 30 some years ago, it was a revelation. It was an epiphany in my life, because by understanding this, I was able then to find my path on purpose in this world and not just be like a pinball bouncing from one thing to another. I was able to be and have a journey and create a pathway. Okay? And along the way, help others. All right. So that's what I've done. All right. So I taught you yesterday the SMART concept, the SMART theory in NLP. Today we're going to talk about something about the conscious and unconscious mind. You all know, we know together that we have two minds. We have an unconscious mind and we have a conscious mind. It's not sub, because sub means it's less than. Your unconscious mind is equal to your conscious mind. It's not subconscious, because it denotates by the word that it's less than your conscious mind. It is not. Unconscious and conscious are at the same level, because these two things make up the psyche and the soul of the human being. Unlike the tortoise, unlike the chimpanzee, unlike the giraffe or the lizard, they don't have this duality built into them. They have instinct and repetition. The elephant gets passed down and cannot veer off its path on its journey because it has an instinctual connection. It's passed down from generation to generation. Okay? But humans aren't like that. See, this is where God and faith come into play. Faith, God means something that was not God means. God is something that mankind created in terms of naming it God, but God has always been there. It's been the omnipotent one, the sense of energy where there's no beginning and no end. There just is. There's an existence that just is. That's who God is. But we have to name it something to understand it. Because our minds are so feeble consciously, we only use 10% of it. Okay. So when you start understanding the conscious and unconscious and what it controls in the natural, healthy human body, then you can begin to understand how you can maneuver through it to create your unconscious and conscious mind so that they're working on the same page together. Because most of the time, people's unconscious and conscious mind are here. They're on different pages. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're here. They're never here. And when they are here, that's called absolute bliss, euphoria. That is called, when you ever in your life have experienced the Michael Jordan effect that he talked about when he played basketball, that he was in the zone. Whenever you're in the zone of something, whether it's education, whether it's love, whether it's passion, whether it's sex, whether it's working, whether it's training, whether it's martial arts, whether it's engineering, whether it's gardening, whether it's eating, whenever your body is in the zone, that is a state where your conscious and unconscious mind, for once in your life, are on the same page. Now, what if you could manufacture that all the time? What if you knew how to make that happen on purpose? Not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. For your son, for your daughter, for your niece, for your brother, for your sister, for your mother, for your grandfather. For your lover, for your husband, for your wife, for your girl, for your guy, for children. What if you could help them to manufacture that being in the zone? Imagine how successful they could be. And I'm just not talking about finances. I'm talking about philosophy, psychologically, sociologically, educationally, spiritually, physically. Imagine how successful they could be. I've raised my children that way. They didn't know it. They're learning about it because I'm teaching them what they already know. And they're going, wow, you did that. That's what that is? Yeah. That's what. See, they're learning it now in their 20s. But they did it all their life. Because their mind, the physicalness of their mind is at the point now that they can start putting together the right synaptic nerves up here in this thing we call our skull that can wrap around and tie each other together so they can understand these very, for some people believe, abstract concepts, but they really aren't. They're natural. They're the natural state of being. Our bodies never want to not be in the zone. Our bodies always want to feel that. Always. Our unconscious mind is a powerful, powerful part of us. And our conscious mind is a powerful part. If we did not have a conscious mind, we couldn't get anything done. If we did not have an unconscious mind, we couldn't get anything done. The fact that we have a conscious and unconscious mind, that in many times they work opposite of each other, which still allows us the opportunity to get things done. And when it does come together, man, you are in eternal bliss. You are in the moment. You are in the zone. You hit the boards, baby. Boom! So today, I want to talk a little bit about the unconscious. Everybody knows the conscious mind. The conscious mind takes care of, I'm moving my right hand. I'm going to get out of the car now and lift my left leg. I'm going to pick the box up. The conscious mind deals in things that are happening right now. The conscious mind deals with its set of circumstances, and the unconscious mind deals with its set of circumstances. They both have something to do in your body that makes you, you. Makes you the special quality person that you are. That each and every one of you are. And I'm going to teach you how you can make that happen on purpose. But first I want to talk about the conscious and unconscious mind real briefly. See, I want you to be successful in 2019. I really, truly do. I want you to have a peaceful life. I want you to be happy with the things that you do. I want you to feel good and make others feel good around you, so that if we do enough of this, one makes another, makes another, makes another, we can change the dynamic of the way our country is going. We got to do something. And I'm an action person. I'm Action Jackson, baby. I'm Jesse T, the Brown Beauty on duty. I take action. Do you? I want you to. But first, before you can take action, you have to understand what action to take. And it starts with you. It starts here. If you're not okay, nothing out there can be okay. If you're not all right, nothing out there can be all right. If you're not able to help yourself, you can't possibly help anybody else. Period. This is what the conscious mind does. The conscious mind works in a line, a linear concept. It works in a straight line. Your conscious mind works in straight lines, meaning that things go the way they're supposed to go. When you walk, you put one foot in the other. That's your conscious mind. Walking, getting up, sitting down, catching the football, hands up, conscious mind. Eating, fork to the mouth, conscious mind. Being someplace on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, conscious mind. Okay? It works in a linear fashion, straight. Okay? Your conscious mind also processes sequentially. In other words, why do human beings have to have things done at the beginning, the middle, and the end? Why is there a beginning, middle, and the end? Why doesn't it just exist all in one moment? Well, it does, but you see, we don't have the ability to understand existence in that plane, so we humans, because of our frailties and our brain capacities, our conscious mind thinks in sequential. In other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Don't care what language you speak. Don't care if you don't even speak a language. Don't care if you're blind. You still think sequentially in your conscious mind. This is why we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is why we have 30 days, 31 days in a month. This is why we have 365 days a year, except for leap year, 367. This is why 12 months is a year. This is why a decade is called 10 years, because we think sequentially. We think in terms of order. We have to. If our conscious mind is not in order, and 1 becomes 6, and 6 becomes B, and B becomes an apple, and an apple becomes a cross, and a cross becomes 3, and a 3 becomes a T, and a period becomes an F, my goodness. You're all over the map. So our mind automatically, consciously puts things in sequential order. We have logic. The conscious mind is logic. Now, there's not a lot of logic and common sense out there in the world today, but logic. It's logical that if you put a fire underneath a tin can, it's logical that when you take your hand and pick up the tin can, the fire is going to make the can hot and you're going to burn your fingertips. That's logical. If you don't think that way, then you are off base in your conscious mind, and that can become a physical thing, that can become a mental health thing, it can become a psychological thing, it can become a lot of things. But humans that are healthy have a logical sequence of events that if you put a fire underneath a tin can and you let the can get hot, you pick the can up, it is going to burn your hand. It's logical. It's logical that if you run across the freeway in cars going 60 miles an hour, that 99% of the time you're going to get killed. Now, 1% makes it. But that's not logical. It's logical the other. Okay? So our conscious mind has to organize in logic. Conscious mind controls verbal language, verbal sounds. Ooga, ooga, ooga. Right? Our conscious mind, blah, 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 blah. Tongue, mouth, larynx, throat, jawbones, muscles, ligaments, tendons, blah, 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 blah. Our conscious mind creates language to communicate. Once again, logical, right? Once again, sequential, right? Once again, right? Working in a line way, in a straight line sort of functionality. Okay? And our conscious mind is in control of mathematics and analysis. Well, it makes sense. Mathematics is sequential. Analysis is understanding that process of communication, that particular formula is emoting or providing you an answer to something. You're analyzing something. This is conscious mind. This is things we do on purpose. Okay? Your conscious mind says between two people, oh, she's hot, or oh, he's sexy, oh, I like him, oh, I want to have intimate relationships with this person. I got to take my clothes off. That's logical. Where do I start? With my shoes. That's conscious mind. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Your unconscious mind is a completely different animal. Okay? Your unconscious mind works holistically. When I mean holistically, you walk out of a dark house and you're feeling kind of drab and it's a beautiful sunshiny 70-degree weather outside with a light breeze, you walk out and that hits you and you change. It's because your body is holistically taking in the kinetic senses, which are unconscious, taking in, and it's affecting your conscious state of being. It's holistically affecting you in a natural way. That's what your unconscious mind does. It also creates intuition. You have that gut feeling. You know, I'm just not going to go to that nightclub tonight. And lo and behold, some crazy maniacal sadistic fanatic goes in and shoots up the nightclub, and you didn't go there. And you always go there on a Wednesday night, but you didn't go there because you just felt, oh, I don't want to go. Something telling me not to go. That's intuition. You meet somebody and you know they're evil. That's intuition. You meet somebody, you know they're lying to you, no matter what their face says, no matter how good of a con man they are. That's intuition. Your unconscious mind gives you the cues to understand things you can't stand consciously. It is the roadmap to truth. The conscious mind is a roadmap to illusion. The unconscious mind is a roadmap to truth, which is holistic. So all the creativity happens in your unconscious mind. Dream states, when you're daydreaming. We're going to talk about that in a second, because this is part of the formula of success, understanding. Daydreaming. When you're daydreaming, you might be sitting in a parking lot and looking at a red sign, and you start daydreaming about the last time you were in Yellowstone National Park, and you had your painter's canvas there, and you were painting this beautiful tree with this bald eagle on top of it, and you were creating these beautiful images. That's daydreaming. That's dreaming. That's the dream state. That's the creativity of the moment. Music comes out of the unconscious mind. Art comes out of the unconscious mind. Sophisticated mathematics, like the mathematics from Einstein and Hawkins, come out of the creative mind. Because it's not something that we can understand. It's something that happens. It happens to all of us. And the more you nurture that and water it, the better you become in terms of your creativity, which puts you more in line with what you should really be doing in life. Because your unconscious mind only wants you to do what you should be doing and wants to feel good, because it never wants to feel bad, and it will only feel good when it should be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it's always going to lead you to what you should be doing so it can feel better. Where your conscious mind says, I got to go to work today. I'm too tired. I'm not going to train. I got to go work out. I got to go to work today. Okay? Your unconscious mind runs your body. Your eyes blink, your blood flows, the air, the heart, the beat, all that is your reaction to things are unconsciously. You fall in love or like with somebody, you have a physical reaction. Men and women have a physical reaction. Okay? You're angry at somebody, you have a physical reaction. Okay? It runs your body, your unconscious mind. It is the fuel of your engine. Your conscious mind is the tires, the steering wheel. Your conscious mind is the windows, up or down. Your unconscious mind is the fuel you put into the car. You consciously put the fuel into the car, but you constantly put the food into your mouth, but you don't think about how your body digests it and turns it into energy and fuel for you to run your life, to live like the car. The fuel. Once you put it in, you don't think about it. It does what it's supposed to do. Unconsciously. The unconscious mind takes care of the emotions. The reaction, the management of those emotions. What emotion to use at what spot, and how much emotion to really give it, or how much emotion to cut away from it. That's what your unconscious mind does. That's why when you're driving down the highway, all of a sudden the tears come down your face, or you start laughing so hard the tears come down your face. Because if the tears came down your face because you're sad, because 7 years ago your mom died, and finally what she said to you in the last days of her life, it finally hit home with you. You have that emotional reaction to a physical thing that took place in the conscious state, but you didn't affect you and you didn't understand it unconsciously until that day 7 years later when you're driving down the highway and all of a sudden the tears come down your face. And then you realize, that's what your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind doesn't have a beginning, middle, and a start. Your conscious mind does. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. Your unconscious mind has no beginning, has no middle, and has no end. It exists. It is God. In every way and shape, form that we understand God, your unconscious mind is connected to God. God, the omnipotent energy of the universe that sparks life into us humans. Your unconscious mind houses very strong memories, good and bad, forever. Never releases them. Your conscious mind opens the door and shuts the door on them when your conscious mind does that. It does it in small little circumstances. I'm going to read you something here. And men, I'm going to piss you off. But this is why women are women. Ladies, I'm going to give you some understanding about yourself. And men, I'm going to give you some understanding about you and understanding women. And women, I'm going to give you some understanding about men. It's built in from the beginning. Did you know that the brain has a left and right half, which are joined together by the corpus callosum? Right. Left, right, joined together, a filament of brain matter, muscle here, the corpus callosum. Okay? Generally, in a normal healthy being, women have a thicker corpus callosum than men, which enables them to multitask better. Sorry guys, women multitask better than you and me. They do. They just do. They have a thicker corpus callosum right here that ties the left and right together, which allows the transfer of communication from the left and right brain, the conscious and unconscious portion, faster and more depth. Okay? We are thinner. If someone calls you thick, thank them, because all they're saying to you is simply complimenting you on the density of your brain network and the connections that your brain cells have made. In other words, you're more intelligent. Guys, women are more intelligent. It's that simple. Okay? They're more intelligent. They are. They always have been from the creation of humanity, and they always will be forever and ever and ever. Your unconscious cannot process negativities. Before your unconscious mind in NLP, I learned, before it will allow itself to process a negativity, what will take place is your unconscious mind will make you sick. It'll put you in the hospital and knock you unconscious. Literally, it'll knock you out before it will allow itself to absorb anything like a sponge of negativity. Negativity lies in your conscious mind. Doubt lies in your conscious mind. Your unconscious mind has no doubt. My mentor, Guy Stockwell, used to say it was the IMP, it was the imp. It was like a little guy standing on your shoulder here all the time, 24/7, while you're awake and while you're asleep. And that's your unconscious mind. Your conscious does this, your unconscious says don't. Who are you going to listen to? You better listen to this little guy, because They are the path to the truth. It is the path to the truth. Conscious is the path to illusion, both from an outside source and you. Negativity does not sink into your unconscious mind because it always wants to survive. It will do anything to survive. Believe me. Your unconscious mind preserves the memories, the strong memories. We talked about this. Why? Because that's the library of your Congress. That's the Babylonian library. Forever and ever and ever. The ancient Babylonian library. Your unconscious mind lives on those strong memories. They're not negative, they're not positive. They just exist. That's why your unconscious mind does things, and you sometimes do things that you don't realize you're doing them, but you did them and you were successful at something you did and didn't realize you were being successful till later on down the line, and you attribute it back when you look back at that thing that you did that made you successful. You don't know why you did it, but you did it. That's your unconscious mind learning from its memories and understanding it always wants to do right and succeed, and there is no negativity, and it directs you, but did you listen to the cues? If you're not listening to your unconscious mind, you're missing half your life. Which means you're going to get half success. You cannot make a horse drink. You can lead it to water, but you can't make it drink. Man, your unconscious mind is a lean, green, mean fighting machine. It's a learning machine. It just learns all the time. Right now, my unconscious mind is learning. Everything around me is affecting me. The kinetic senses are affecting me. Where I'm at, who I'm at, what I'm with, what I'm doing, what I'm talking about, the nightfall that's happening around me, and the gray ghost too here. Everything affects. It's a learning, mean, green, fighting machine of learning. It learns all the time, 24/7. Whether you're awake or you're asleep, it's learning. Your conscious mind goes to sleep. That's what sleep does. Sleep makes you sleep because your conscious mind can't stay up all night. Your unconscious mind is up from the time that the sperm meets the egg and that spark of life happens. Your unconscious mind is kicked in, and it will not stop until your corporeal life ends. Your body goes back to Mother Earth. You disintegrate back into what we are, Earth people. That's what you do. And your spirit, your energy, your chi goes off into the galactic infinity of time where there is no time, there was no beginning, there was no middle, there is no end. It exists. That's what conscious is. Unconscious is. We are tied to the universe. So at nighttime, you got to go to sleep because your conscious mind knocks you out. Then allows the unconscious mind to take over. That's when your healing of your body takes place. Your refreshing of your body takes place. That's where your dream states take place. That's where you get inspired. That's where you live over 3/4 of your life without the conscious mind getting in the way. The conscious mind just gets in the way. You cannot do any wrong. Ethically, morally, honorably, honestly. If you understand your unconscious mind is perfect. It is pure. It is perfect. It is pure essence of existence. And in the purity of its existence and the perfectness of its actions, it is incapable of behaving with no morality. The psychopaths of life who have no morality and eat people for a living, like Jeffrey Dahmer and these sick pedophiles and pedophilias and these sick people. These people have no morality. They have no unconscious mind. And believe me, many people in powerful positions on this planet Earth have zero to no unconscious understanding. And they only deal in a conscious state. Believe me. You see it. They have no morality. So you can tell when somebody has morality or not. Your unconscious mind does not want to live anything than just a perfect moral entity. So when you do something wrong on purpose and you know you're doing something wrong, like you go into the work at the refrigerator and you take your partner's food, but no one's there late at night, no one's going to know. You know you did something wrong, but you did it anyway. If that's your unconscious mind saying to you, man, you shouldn't be doing this. Would you like somebody to take your food? But you take it anyway because you're hungry. Consciously, you're hungry, so you eat it. And if you tell the guy tomorrow or you bring some food tomorrow, that's another story. But most people won't. So they are lying to themselves. They're cheating themselves. To what was Shakespeare said, to thyself be true. People who have no unconscious mind can't be true to thyself because they don't have any understanding that they did anything wrong. See, that's why your unconscious mind will spank your little butt and make you feel guilty and wrong and sad and bad, where your conscious mind doesn't have that built in. All right, so now we understand a little bit about how that works. Your goal in life, should you decide to accept this is your mission, is to understand how those two things, when they work together, how they create this bliss, this in the zone, this in the moment, when everything came together. You don't have to worry too much about your unconscious, because if you're a normal, healthy human being, your unconscious is going to be there in how and the way I explained it. It's the conscious state of being that you have to worry about. So you have to train the conscious state of being to get out of the way. The conscious being gets you to the meeting. The conscious being pushes the button on the computer to print it off. The conscious being types the language. But the unconscious makes a presentation. You got to learn to get out of the way. And so how you do that is you give the conscious mind something to do. Guy Stockwell always used to say, you give it something to do. As an actor, he used to say, give your character something to do, physically. The stage, nobody has to see it. The audience doesn't have to see it. The director of the film doesn't have to see it. But give your body something to do that the character would do. Create a conscious thing that the character would do. Remember in the Humphrey Bogart movie where he played the ship's captain and he had the two ball bearings and he rolled them around like this all the time? That was Humphrey Bogart giving the character something to do. And in giving the character the physical conscious something to do, it allowed the unconscious aspect of the script and the unconscious creative part of the acting, the art form, to take place in a pure state of being. And by doing that, he was able to create this Mr. Roberts, this Captain Roberts, okay? And he gave his physicalness something to do. Give your body something to do. Wiggle your toes in your shoe. Your conscious mind will go to that. Just wiggle your toes in your shoe right now. What are you thinking about? You're thinking about your toes in your shoe, right? But do your eyes stop blinking? Does your heart stop pounding? Do you stop breathing? No, you don't. Because now you're allowing the unconscious mind to take over, where the conscious mind is concerned about wiggling the toes in your shoe. In yoga, in Buddhism, in praying, in being in a silent place, in meditation, we are what we're trying to do is get rid of our conscious state of being so that we can allow the unconscious state of being to take over. The dream state. Now, understanding this, create your future reality. This is how you tie it all together. Make a list of what is important to you about your goal, all the reasons why you want it, and put them in order of importance. Now, while still daydreaming, after you meditate, pray, daydream, clean your mind, whatever you want to call it, chi exercise, tai chi exercises, while you're still daydreaming, imagine floating out of your body and into the future to a time when you might have achieved that goal. Notice the pictures, the sounds, the feelings, and maneuver them around. The kinetic senses, the taste, the smell, the sound, the feeling on your skin, the air blowing. Allow your conscious mind to dwell on that, which allows your unconscious mind to take over in the dream state. From that place in the future, turn back and look now at what you have achieved to get to that place in the future as you look back upon your journey to get there, and what you had to go through, and the steps you had to take, and the feelings you had to feel, and the maneuvering you had to maneuver. Notice that notice that your unconscious mind needs to know about, and what it needs to know about to help you in order to achieve your goal. The best way to do this is remember the first step that you took. Boom. Your conscious mind remembers the first step. Your unconscious mind remembers the weight of the first step, the sound of the rain on the car. And you bring that from backward to forward in this dream state of looking backwards from your success. And just savor that, man. Dream it fully. And then breathe and come back to that first step you took on that road to success that brought you to this dream state of success, when you got a chance to look back and see how you got there, the agenda that you put together to get there, and you had to take a first step to get there. Then you come and breathe and dream about that first step, and then you wake up and take that first step. Bam! You're on your way. The Jesse T Show. This week, I want you to be successful in 2019. And I'm giving you some very basic NLP techniques and understanding that can put your life together, I hope, and help you make the right steps to what I want for you more than anything in the world, is to be successful physically, financially, morally, psychologically, educationally, sociologically, spiritually. I want you to be successful. Well, there's a reason for that. Because when you're successful, you're going to come back to me, Jesse T, and say, Jesse, I want to buy a house. I want to do a loan. And you know something? We got business, baby. We are in the moment. Get in the moment. Hopefully this helps you out. Tomorrow, we'll cover another aspect of NLP on our way to 2019. The Brown Beauty is off duty. The Jesse T Show, bringing you the things you need to know to get on better in your life. Always, you never know what we're going to talk about, but we always talk about something that helps you, my friends, and entertains you and informs you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless this country. God bless America. And God bless our president, because he deals in an unconscious state. He lets the conscious go by. That's why they don't know how to deal with his success. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. The Jesse T Show, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. See ya!